good Thursday morning. It's a Sorokin Shutout Thursday here on Boomer and Geo, and we've got lots of Yankees to talk about again because there was news. Actual news and actual quotes from Hal Steinbrenner, and then also Mariano Rivera, who threw his 2 cents in on what the Yankees should do. And more Andy Martino reports about the players and how they feel about being Yankees and playing in New York and how they felt when the fans were booing Aaron Judge for his brutal postseason. We got football tonight, an intriguing matchup, we think, on paper. If the Bucs actually show up and play real football, it might be a fun game. And another big trade in the NFL and in the NFC East, where the Giants should be paying attention. You got a 6-0 team in there that's going for it. You're 6-1. Do you go for it? It's going to be a fun show today. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Oh, I've been better, G, and I don't appreciate you.
What's that?
Opening the show, calling it a Sorokin Shutout Wednesday or whatever.
It's a Thursday, yeah.
I don't even know what time it is.
Yeah.
I mean, getting out of that place, man, holy God. Getting into that place was even worse. But, man, what a beautiful building last night, UBS Arena.
Will appreciate that.
Yeah, well, they know exactly, because every Long Islander that is going to UBS Arena, I had a couple buddies coming from Manhasset. They all said it took them about an hour and 20 minutes.
Really, Manhasset to UBS?
It's like 8 miles.
Wow.
If that much. I don't know how they were. I don't know if they drove or I don't know. I have no idea. Basically, everybody's complaining. But at the end of the day, all it really matters is whether or not your team wins. And we got shut out. And that means Yaroslav Halak has now lost 3 games and has given up at least 3 goals in every single one of these games. And then, of course, the Rangers don't score. They don't score. It's miserable. That's really miserable.
Yeah, well, you're all over TNT, and Jerry will play that audio coming up in a little bit. So that was very entertaining.
Well, it was very nice. It was very nice for Kenny and Eddie and Keith to say what they were saying. Buddy's, texting me right now going, "You look miserable on TNT." I said, "Yeah, because we can't score a freaking goal."
It is true. You did look pissed off.
Yeah,
there.
I was. I was a little ticked off last night. There's no question about that.
You had no idea that the camera was on you.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't pick my nose, man. Jesus. But, yeah, no, they were very nice. And believe you me, for people that think that nobody cares about hockey, everybody in that suite with us last night, the phones were blowing up. Their phones were blowing up, and everybody was watching on TNT last night. So that was very nice. And, I got a chance to spend a period with Winnie.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so she was there last night in all her glory and her little Matt Martin jersey on.
And the NHL tweeted out a video. I don't know if this is the particular video. Is it?
Yeah, there she is later.
It is, and she gets scared and walks away.
Yeah. See ya. Goodbye.
Right. So
goodbye.
They tweeted out that video and said that Daddy looks different in his work clothes.
Yeah.
So
she gets it. She's starting to understand.
Right. She also looks very frightened by her own father.
Well, you'd be frightened too if you saw him. I was thinking about last night. So obviously I play golf with Matt and Cal Clutterbuck and these guys. And I was watching to see how much Cal Clutterbuck was going to skate last night, because he's usually skating a lot.
I thought you were going to say how much he was going to drink.
No. That was probably after the game. No. But so he's on the penalty kill. And he didn't skate at all in the penalty kill. You know why? He was right in Mika's hip pocket.
Oh, it was all over him.
It was all over him, and that was their I guess one of their game plan issues last night was to make sure that power play didn't get on track, and it hasn't been on track for the Rangers. So we've lost 4 in a row now. 2 of those were, point getters, meaning ties going into either overtime or a shootout. But it's been like the revenge tour.
Yeah, that's right.
Over the last 4 or 5 games. And, Yaroslav Halak he's the backup goalie. Sorokin's the number 1 goalie. Around here, we're expecting Shesterkin and Sorokin to be a net together.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Rangers had to play the Avalanche the night before, obviously, is a huge advantage for the Islanders.
All right, you get that out of your system now?
Just
want to get that out of the system.
It's not out of my system right now.
Just want to drink, get the poison out. Get the poison out so you can move on.
I just want to tell Chris Kreider, look, straight ahead.
All right.
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead. Did you see the Hal Steinbrenner quotes yesterday?
Yes, I saw the quotes, yes.
Some guy from the AP was able to find Hal Steinbrenner down in Florida somewhere and get him to answer actual questions about the future of his organization. And he essentially said that Aaron Boone's coming back. The quote is, as far as Boone's concerned, we just signed him, and for all the same reasons I listed a year ago, I believe he is a very good manager. I don't see a change there, end quote.
So I don't see a change there. Is there a change in other areas?
Potentially.
I don't. Like I told you, I don't.
But why would they do that?
Unless Brian Cashman wants an exorbitant amount of money, which could be the case. Unless Brian Cashman wants, 5 or 6 years on a contract, which could be the case. Then the only way I could see Hal saying no is that, look, man, we're going to give you a 2-year or 3-year deal, and we'll move on, and this is what we're going to pay you. But it's interesting. The Wall Street Journal, and we've been talking about this now for the last month. The Wall Street Journal just came out with an article talking about the George Steinbrenner and how he built this Yankee brand, how much this Yankee brand is worth, and how his children have become billionaires because of their father.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, here we go. This is like the pressure is right on Hal's shoulders squarely because as we've been discussing here is, will they go through the luxury tax? What does it matter to go through the luxury tax? It just feels like everybody now is just zeroing in on Hal.
Well, yeah, of course. And why wouldn't you? Because he would be the one who would make a change of the general manager. He would be the one, if he wanted the manager gone, he could also do that. But I can't imagine now that if Aaron Boone's coming back and Hal Steinbrenner is so confident about that in those quotes, that he's going to bring in a new general manager and then keep the manager. We've seen that before.
Doesn't make any sense.
We've seen that before in football. We've seen it in baseball. It just doesn't end up working out
unless
that
it's
way.
An internal candidate.
Sure, you could elevate somebody. Yeah, that could happen. But the internal candidates are all like, Brian Cashman underlings who have been there for 25 years too.
Right, and they all believe in Aaron Boone, which is fine. I mean, that's Hal doesn't strike me as a guy that panics. Hal isn't a guy that strikes me that is going to overthink things. I mean, he'll take his time, but they'll have Cashman under contract, I would assume, very shortly.
Man, oh, man. Just going to run it back, huh? We're going to run it back.
I'm not really sure when Brian Cashman's contract runs out, by the way.
I think it's December.
So it is December. So they have time to get it done. That's the point.
Right. I mean, and if he's not coming back, you got to let him know now because the offseason gets started pretty quickly after the World Series. You got to start. I mean, the offseason's already happening now, for Christ's sakes.
I would say, no, but is anybody even paying attention to the World Series right now?
No, nor should you. If you are a Yankee or Met fan, how could you watch
and
that?
The Yankees, their offseason has started,
Yep.
and they got to get cranking, and they got to make sure that they start making decisions and looking at things. And this thing about, the players being upset about how the fans treated Aaron Judge, that's a true thing. That's a 100% true thing. Even though it may come from the agents or whatever, I do believe it's 100% because, the players hear it. The players know it. The players are aware of what's happening around them. They're not idiots. They're human beings as well. And I bet you guys in that dugout were like, wait a minute. He just hit 62 home runs, batted over like 315, had 140 RBIs, whatever the hell it was. And the fan base is booing Aaron Judge?
Yeah, so it was another Andy Martino article, and he was talking to agents, and he was talking to rival executives that were really surprised at the fact that the fans were booing Aaron Judge, and also surprised, and the rival executives apparently were also surprised that the fan base is so down on Cashman and Boone because the baseball industry looks at those guys differently than the Yankee fan does. But, I mean, I do agree with you. I mean, I know that everybody's initial take was, listen, if you can't make it here, then go somewhere else, and you got to be tough enough. I mean, I do understand that side of it, but, like, this day and age with professional athletes and the money that you can make, and you could be a star absolutely anywhere. I mean, look at the NBA. John Morant is becoming a humongous superstar, worldwide superstar, by the way, and he plays in Memphis, for Christ's sakes. So it doesn't matter anymore. So being a Yankee, there's not as many great things about being a Yankee as there used to be. And by the way, none of these current guys got a taste of what it's like to win in New York.
Right.
Well, so all they know is what it's like to lose in New York. And just like you say, it's no better place to win in New York. There's no worse place to lose in New York.
Well, I'm sure that the players are aware of the illustrious Yankee history and what that means to the fans and the pride that comes along with that. And I'm sure anybody who works for the Yankees feels that same sense of pride and tries to live up to all of those experiences. But I just think that if you're Aaron Judge and the fact that you are a Yankee, you were drafted a Yankee, and you came up through the Yankee system, to be able to say that you would spend the next 8 or 9 years or even 10 years here in the Yankee pinstripes, even if the Yankees have to pay you an extra $80 million and extend the contract 2 years, would be worth it for him, I think, for legacy purposes. Because when he looks out there and even when he thinks of Jeter and Mariano, those guys didn't leave. Posada, they didn't leave. They all stayed here. They were all legacy Yankees, but they won championships. They won World Series. There is something to be said about being attached to that group and being a long tenured Yankee, assuming that the Yankees want to pay what we all believe the Giants are going to do.
Yeah, I mean, and they're going to go all in. Apparently, you hear all the reports are not going to be outbid. If they lose Aaron Judge, it won't be over money, all of these things. But, I mean, is Aaron Judge going to be remembered as Derek Jeter, who won multiple championships and was the captain, or is he going to be remembered as Don Mattingly, the most famous player in that era, the most likable player in that era where they were not winning? I mean, what is he going to end up being? There's a big difference between the guy who's got multiple World Series rings and the guy that everybody loved that they wish they could have gotten one for him. And I don't know if that matters to Aaron Judge. Everybody here assumes, because we all grew up around the Yankees, whether you're a Yankee fan or not, if you're a sports fan, you know all about the Yankees. Even if you despise the Yankees, you know all about them and the history. And we had grandparents and parents that saw Mickey Mantle and, I went to Yankee Stadium and the old Yankee Stadium and the Ghosts and Babe Ruth and 61 and Billy Crystal and yada, yada, yada. But do these guys here give a rat's ass about that stuff? I don't know, man.
I would think that Aaron Judge has a little bit of that in him. I do appreciate that, respect that, and would like to be a part of that. But like I keep telling you, at the end of the day, for him, it's about raising the bar for everybody else. He's got to raise the bar. He's got to go get the money he's going to get right now. So when Juan Soto becomes a free agent, 2 years?
Yeah.
Or a year and a half, whatever it is. When Juan Soto becomes a free agent, assuming that San Diego doesn't buy out some of these arbitration years and extends him, Juan Soto will be the next one that's going to go after that big money contract, and he'll have to raise it above Aaron Judge if he can. So this is part of their responsibility to their own MLBPA union. Because of all the players that went before him, it's really, truly up to him to break the bank while he can, and it may end up costing him his career opportunity to win a World Series. Although I would think that the San Francisco Giants have a very good organization. They, too, have great history. They, too, have won World Series championships, more than the Yankees in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. So you're going to technically a winning franchise, even though it may not be set up to win right now. We'll have to see what happens after free agents, because they may end up signing 3 major free agents.
Yeah, I mean, this offseason, it basically, to me, is a total crapshoot. I don't know what to expect. I would assume that they're not going to do as much as the fans want them to do, because we're kind of in the same situation last offseason with a disappointing finish to the year and not as good of a regular season, and they really didn't go all in the offseason. Some things worked, some things didn't. And also Mariano Rivera, as I mentioned earlier, they had this big event last night. I'm not even sure what it was for, but Jeter was there, Mariano was there. And Mariano basically says if he was the owner, he'd move on from Aaron Boone. So now you got the fan base and one of the greatest players in the history of this illustrious organization not wanting the manager to be there any longer. And Hal's like, I think we're going to bring him back.
Hey, yeah, but, Derek Jeter also said something, too. He said, this is a situation where it doesn't matter who the manager is. It's just, you got to deal with all of this, essentially. He supported Aaron Boone, but because a guy takes a shot at Aaron Boone, that gets amplified a little bit more. But Derek Jeter said, look, I played with Aaron. He's a good baseball man. He's caught between a rock and a hard place, essentially.
Yeah, well, the next controversial thing that Derek Jeter says will be the first controversial thing that Derek Jeter says. So, exactly. I'm really not going to. What's he going to do? You fire Aaron Boone? You think Derek Jeter's going to say that? No, he's going to take the easy way out. He doesn't want any sort of headlines or negative press.
But I thought what he said was...
what he says to me is, oh, God.
Yeah, but I thought what he said was, it was...
the most boring thing you've ever heard, like everything else out of his mouth?
I don't know, it just made a lot of sense. It's like, there's a lot of passion out there for all of this. And he was just like, look, man, no matter who you put in there, it's a no-win situation. It's really what he said.
Yeah, and I do agree with the fact that the manager in this situation doesn't mean as much. However, it just feels like this is the time to try something different. It just really does feel like that. And Hal doesn't see it that way. Hal's just like, hey, the business of the Yankees is in a pretty good spot right now.
I'm going to send you that Forbes article about the Yankees.
Was it? I thought it was Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal. It might have been Forbes.
Wall Street Journal. New report, old report.
It's a new report.
Okay.
Definitely a new report.
And I'll take a look at that. And I'll read it about how the pressure is on Hal Steinbrenner to spend. It's Forbes?
It's Forbes.
Okay.
If you like Forbes.
Yeah, I like Forbes.
I'll send you the Forbes article then.
All right, I'll take a look at that in the break that's going to happen right now. It is Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.